Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus once again. It's about 2:30 or close to 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. I think this is February 2nd. For some strange reason, I can't get to sleep. I'm thinking about you're having a chance to enjoy the living in the bodies that you have on this earth during this time. I'm thinking about you having an opportunity to experience your dreams. And when I say you, I'm basically talking about all of us. And I see obstacles in our way, and I find it my business to speak out about it. Perhaps there might be those amongst you who are not aware and would be grateful. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Republicans and the Senate, they hid the crimes as best they could of the President, which indicates the laws are there when you want them. Say if Barack Obama had done what Trump did. You remember when Barack Obama became president and the Speaker of the House said he was, I think they had it somewhere on tape, where they play it every now and then on the news, where he says that he's going to do everything he possibly can to make sure that Barack Obama accomplishes nothing. I think the guy, Paul Ryan, might have said it in the House. In fact, all of those guys might have said it, and they did everything they possibly could to make sure that they could tear him down. And still there were some things he was able to accomplish, and now they got another guy that's coming there going to make sure that he tears everything down. And so when they want the laws to work, they work. And when they don't want them to work, they don't work, such as with Trump. You know, he violated the Constitution and he's getting away with it. People are approving it. The 40 acres and a mule, it meant something until it didn't. Reconstruction meant something until it didn't. The voting rights meant something until it didn't. Justice meant something until it didn't. Humanity meant something until it didn't. Democracy meant something until it didn't. The question, my friends, is this: how long will we, the masses, continue to allow such abuse upon our personhood? A president or a Congress or a church is unnecessary for this change that I speak to you of. This only requires a made-up mind. Every individual that makes up their mind is free at the moment thereof. Now there will be struggles, but these struggles are needed to prove the case to you and to those that are observing you. So, ladies and gentlemen, when the masses make up their minds, I'm not talking about the individual now. When you, the masses, make up your mind, then heaven on earth. You see, ever since America has been a nation under the rule of whites, and it has been under the rule of whites, a colossal failure. That's what has been the result. You have the haves and you have the have-nots. You got poverty, you got crime and violence. You got hatred and racism and bigotry. Ooh. And do anyone really think that white folks can fix America's problems, or that they want to? They have never operated proper. And everybody in the political scene come to the front talking about addressing these issues because they are common issues that are concerns amongst all the people, not just in this country, but all the people on earth. They are designed this way. And so everybody comes before us, we the people, saying, we're going to do this, I'm going to do this, give me a chance. And everything that's set up, it seems, is designed to work when you want it to work and not to work when you don't want it to work. And so we have the evidence right here with this President of the United States and this impeachment process. You have the senators who are supposed to be running the trial, and they're supposed to be doing it fairly, throwing out all the biases. And they stand there before the American people and say, we are going to be biased. I don't want anyone to think that we're not going to be. We are going to be. We're going to work hand in hand with the White House counsel. We're going to clear him of this. And they give all the evidence for the world to see. And the whole world knows Trump just by how he speaks, how he talks about people. They know that it's whatever ugly that they can say about him, he did it. And these guys are saying it doesn't matter. We're going to exonerate him. The fact that he has been given this amount of power and what he can do to people in the future does not matter to any of them. They are for this. Now, what do you see, ladies and gentlemen? When you watch this, what do you see? Do you see the Republicans being smart, outsmarting the Democrats? They were playing a game. The House thought they had the upper hand. Now the Senate has jumped over. Now they got the upper hand. Is that what you're judging them on? Is this what you're excited about because it seems now that maybe your camp has the upper hand? Come on. Come on. If you're thinking about that, I mean, they really have raised some fools. Because it's not about that at all, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about you. It is all about you, how blind you are, how well you've been put asleep and kept asleep. And the wool is being pulled straight over your head, and you have no idea what's going on. These men stood before you and told you they were going to be biased. And then they went into a court proceeding, a court session, and they raised their hands and took an oath before witnesses, not just the witnesses there in that room, but witnesses all over the world. Did you hear me? Witnesses in America, witnesses in Russia, in China, in Korea, witnesses in Iran, Iraq, Australia, Hawaii, witnesses all over the world. They raised up their hand. They took a vow before the people and before God that they were going to be fair and just in these proceedings. And I believe they went and they signed a book stating that they took this oath and they signed their names to it. And they walked out of there, ladies and gentlemen, and mocked God. God didn't mean a thing to them. This oath didn't mean a thing to them. You, the people, did not mean a thing to them. Not a thing. Not one iota. And you know what? Now they're ready to continue playing the game. And now you got the Democrat jumping back in the field, ready to go back and tell you how wonderful they are and how they got to beat Donald Trump. How they got to beat Donald Trump. Listen to them, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to them how they are playing you. They got to beat Donald Trump. What the heck does this got to do about Donald Trump. This has to do about change. The change that addresses your concerns. The change that addresses the concerns of the masses of the people. The changes that addresses the concerns of all the people. Nobody's trying to beat Trump. We're trying to satisfy the concerns of the people. But many of them are saying, we gotta beat Trump. I can beat Trump. Now you beat Trump, is that any better? I mean, what do we the people profit? See, to me, it's just another game. And I have heard no one say more than what they're all saying. Education and health care and careers and a more faithful nation. But let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you have people who will support this coup with the Senate in this impeachment process. Many of them are Christians. Many of them said right there, know that Trump is no good. And yet they support him all the way, and even says that he's God sent. And whether he's God sent or not, I don't know. But I know that God's program is not coming through him, and it's not coming through any of those people. It is impossible, because all they have ever learned was what you see. And it doesn't matter what walk of life they are in. Do you believe it? All you got to do is tomorrow, Sunday. If this is Sunday and you hear this at the wrong time, watch next Sunday. Turn your television on and listen to everybody preaching. All the preachers. Turn around. Check out different stations. Check out different faiths. And you know what the bottom line is? They are actually preaching America's system as being God's system. Oh yeah, they take out the stuff and say you don't want this crime and violence and everything, but everything that's going on is the same as this system. They got God's system hooked up just like this. They got God paying you money. They got God giving you jobs. They got God giving you increases. Where in the world did God start dealing with money? Where? Especially with the division that comes with money. You don't have to look for haves, have-nots. What God got to do with that? Well, anyway, that's just to say that God has nothing to do with that, ladies and gentlemen. This is all man-made. And it's man-made for one reason, and that's to be God to you, to be God to all people. I say, it is time that I make up my mind. You know, when you really get down to it, the 2020 impeachment joke, if you want to call it that, it represents what happened with the natives. A treaty was made and it was broken. Who, I can ask you again, in the world, outside of Trump supporters and those of you who are in America who are going to give in because you're just that weak, who outside would ever trust America's leadership? Who would do it? Do you know what has happened? Do you know anything about Reconstruction? No, they didn't want you to know about that. But there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, when some efforts had been made and black people were really getting back on the ball. You know, a lot of you guys have been taught that black people can't do anything, that they're all failures. You get your tail out of the way, and you would be amazed at what black people can do. They're no better than you now. but they're just as good as you. But what happened when they started progressing? The white folks, the haters, the bigots, the racists, they couldn't stand it. They went and burned the place down, burned the town down, burned all the businesses down, got it destroyed. I mean, and here we are, here today. Many, the masses of us, are suffering from these crooks. And you only do it because you don't know God. So ladies and gentlemen, this is why I took upon myself to introduce to you the God that I know. Now, is he the God of the Bible? I do not know. I know that you think that there's nothing, everything outside of a God in the Bible is crooked. You think what you want to think. I just want to share with you the God that I know. Now, does this God that I know, is he the God of everybody? I'd like to think so. Why do I like to think so? Because I know if he's the God of everybody, he loves you just as much as he loves me. And if this is true, then I know that everything was designed so that you could have heaven right here on earth. Every last one of you, by God, you cannot see, you can't touch, you can't feel, you can't even sit up and start talking about your emotions and start talking about God up in there. No. You got to want God. You got to search for God. You got to, become God. How do you do that? By wanting to please God. How do you want to please God? By doing those things that brings pleasure and joy to yourself. That's the only way you're going to do it. And how do you do that? By treating others like you want to be treated. Now, the pure in heart will see God. And when you see God, your eyes are open to see the darkness. I mean the stink, the stench. You can see it clearly. And you got something to compare with. You got perfection. And when you see perfection, Lord God, you ain't thinking about that stench. You ain't thinking about that filth. You ain't thinking about that ghetto of life. I'm not talking about a race. I'm talking about a ghetto of life. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want your dreams to come true. I want you to feel as though you are a king, a queen, a prince, a princess amongst kings and queens and prince and princess. And you all got a dream. And you're all about your dreams. And everything you can imagine is happening to you. Why? Because everybody's engaged in doing their thing, their particular thing that they have been given. And the master carpenter, the master creator, the master painter has designed it in such a way that everything that we do when we're doing it liberally, everything we imagine turns to nothing but absolute dreams fulfilled. And ladies and gentlemen, you sitting up here listening to these people running to you talking to let them be president, and you buying into it. You feel that's the best way out, the quickest way out. And then after you take this over, then you can start dealing with something else. But you might as well deal with this here right now. This is no in-between thing. No, this is no somebody over there talking about right wing and forget the center. Maybe go to the center a little. Or somebody over here talking about the far left and maybe go to the center. Let me tell you something. God is at the far right and God is at the far left. And God is in all between. Everywhere. The far right want to go over there and rob everybody from the middle all the way out. Talking about conservative. And they get mad when the people talk about going to the left, going too far to the left. What the hell does that mean, going too far to the left? There's some people over there hungry. You don't care about them. That's too far. They need education, shelter, housing, food. They need education, health care. You don't think they do? That's too far. See, it is too far for people who believe that the earth started from a bang. That is too far for people who believe they evolved from an ape or a fish. That is too far for people whose mentality is restricted to something like that. It is too far for those who cannot believe that if something can make a fish, if something can make a monkey, then something can make a man without evolving from it. But anyway, as long as you're thinking like that, then you're thinking like dog eat dog, only the strong survive, lie, cheat, steal, whatever it takes to get it, do it. And we'll deal with the answers and consequences later. We'll take a lie and change it and call it an alternative truth. Ladies and gentlemen, you're being played by the devil. Now, I'm not calling Trump a devil, but I'm saying that the things that he is doing is straight out of the heart of the devil. Now, I didn't mean to talk this long, but good God Almighty, I really love you, because every time I start talking, I keep going on, and you need every bit of it. Thank you for listening. Until next time, Eddie Marcus. Goodbye.